This video is by Straight Goods News. SGNews.ca.
Thank you very much. We're here to respond to the release of the KPMG documents and the statements of the ministers, as you just heard a few moments ago. Our party, since May of 2010, when I asked the first question in the House of Commons on the process for acquiring a replacement for the CF-18s, we were told that there would be a transparent, open, competitive process to undertake this. That didn't happen. It was followed by an announcement in July 2010 of a sole source contract. We believe that we're still in the same situation after all this time and after all this misleading of Canadians about the price. We're looking for a method that will deliver the right plane at the right place with the best industrial benefits. Since 2011 election, we've had a separate critic for procurement. First it was Christine Moore, and then it was Matthew Kellaway. Matthew Kellaway is the current critic for procurement, and I'm going to ask Matthew to give a specific response to the announcement today, and then we'll all be prepared to answer questions in English or French dealing with this matter. Okay, Matthew?
Thank you very much, Jack. You can't move on, you can't move forward until you've admitted that you've got a problem and that you've made mistakes. And the Minister of National Defence and the Prime Minister himself have had ample opportunity to admit that they've made some very serious mistakes over the last 2 years, misleading Canadians on the price of this jet, on the delays of the jet, on the technical flaws with the jet. And we've heard none of that, and we've heard none of that today. And so what we've heard today is that the minimum price for this plane is 3 times higher than anything that this government has publicly disclosed to date. That's tens of millions of dollars higher. What we haven't heard today is what we wanted to hear, which is that there will be an open competition for a replacement for the CF-18. What we've seen is this government being called out by the Parliamentary Budget Officer, by the Auditor General, by us, the official opposition, and they've quickly retreated back behind closed doors to do this process once again in secrecy.
But the missing step is putting it out to public tender. Once you have a statement of operating requirements, they're not changing that, they're putting it to one side, but if they're not going to change it, you've still got the same framework in which they're going to be doing what they're calling a market analysis. Well, a market analysis is like doing a shopping expedition. The true tendering process, which is what the Public Tendering Act requires, is you define your requirements, you ask the people who are in the business to put forth their tenders so that you get the lowest price, so you get the product that you need, the right plane, at the right price, with the industrial benefits that are part of Canada's defence acquisition system. They are bypassing those 3 steps.
So do you have any doubts we're going to end up with the F-35 at the end of this?
Well, it sure looks like we're going back to the same process and say, well, we wanted the F-35 to begin with, and here's the reasons why we want it, and so someone's going to be looking over the shoulder. But unless you do the actual rejigging of what our actual requirements, put it out to tender and see what the companies who are in the market, and we know who they are, there's 4 or 5 players out there, what are they going to do this job for, and what are the industrial benefits we're going to get, and what's the timelines. Even the timelines are changing. You know, these planes were going to fall out of the sky in 2020, and then we had the Minister of Defence today say that they're good for another 10 to 15 years. So that's from 2022 to 2027, not 2020. So we're getting new facts every day to fit with the current version of the government story. Why we're doing all this charade is because they've been caught out, that they've been misleading Canadians about the cost. They've never revealed the true cost. And in fact, if you look at the KPMG report, the $9 billion acquisition seems to be shoehorned in that. They say that their mitigation is to buy less planes in order to keep within the $9 billion. I mean, they told us 2 years ago they had to have 65 planes. And so no allowance is being made for the extra planes that might be lost in terms of 8 or 10 planes. That's the Auditor General pointed that out. This is all being shoehorned into the $9 billion so that they can change the facts to make the numbers fit. So, you know, we don't, they're asking us, they're asking Canadians to say, trust us, we pressed a reset button, trust us. The same people, the core decision makers, the 3 deputy ministers are going to be the ones making. Well, first of all, the 42 years is the entire life that we will have F-35. It's based on a 30-year life cycle, not a 42-year life cycle. So that number is you know, they're expanding that, and it's not realistic. So no, the price is not going up because it's 42 years. It's a true cost of a 30-year life cycle that they should have been doing in the first place, that they had on their desk at $25 billion and didn't talk about. So they've been continuing to mislead the public. And no, this is not a new process. The reset button does not create anything more than another version of a sole source contract. They're going back to the drawing board in one sense, that they're going back several steps, but they're not going to redo the statement of operating requirements. They're not going to put it out to a fair and transparent public tendering process that makes sure that there's fair competition between those who are offering the product, so that we get the right price, at the right plane, at the right place, with the right industrial benefits. I mean, this is a big hole here. If we're going to be spending $45 billion on aircraft and sustainment, under the industrial benefits program, we would have $45 billion worth of industrial benefits. If you look at the KPMG report, it says that Canadian companies will have the right to bid on $9 billion. Well, where's the other $33 billion that are left on the table here that Canadians are going to be paying?